Hi, welcome back to my views and news. Two news stories for you. First one is about regional situation. Ethiopian government seems to be in trouble. It seems that PM Abiy's government is hesitating to be part of US neutral or Russian Chinese camps. Kenya is taking advantage of the position. Ethiopia is isolated to some extent. We have details for you in this video. Secondly, since yesterday, we have been hearing rumors about a top Ethiopian military officer. Yesterday, it was rumored that the officer had been fired from his position, and this morning, people started spreading rumors that the general had been executed, killed. Who is this general? Any truth in these rumors? Details for you in this video. Firstly, viewers, it seems that Ethiopian government is in a difficult position, difficult for the government to decide which camp to join. And isolation of Ethiopia is now very evident. A top US official is visiting Horn of Africa, East Africa these days. Ethiopia is not in the picture. Who is this top US official? Which countries is he visiting? Why isn't Ethiopia in the picture? Lloyd Austin is US Secretary of Defense. He's top man, one of top men in the US. And he's visiting the region these days. He was in Djibouti yesterday. In Djibouti, there is a US military base. Visited the base. He held a meeting with Ismail Omar, Djibouti's president. He held a meeting with Hassan Sheikh, Somalia's president. Then he arrived in Nairobi, Kenya. Several meetings in Nairobi, Kenya between the US Secretary of Defense and top Kenyan defense officials. Kenyan President William Ruto also held a meeting with Lloyd Austin. In the statements issued, US Secretary of Defense said that his visit was about regional security, international security. Obviously, fight against Al-Shabaab came under discussions. Somalia is affected, Kenya is affected. Isn't Ethiopia affected? Just a few days ago, an Ethiopian military convoy was ambushed by Al-Shabaab fighters. Dozens of Ethiopian army soldiers were killed. We saw graphic videos showing dead bodies of Ethiopian National Defense Force soldiers. The Ethiopian military claimed to have launched a counteroffensive and killed hundreds of Al-Shabaab fighters, but that counteroffensive remained unconfirmed. Al-Shabaab shared a video. Al-Shabaab claimed to have killed 167 Ethiopian soldiers. Last year, Al-Shabaab fighters entered Ethiopian territory, Suma region. So Al-Shabaab is a threat to Ethiopia. I think it's a bigger threat to Ethiopia than to Kenya. So Lloyd Austin is in Kenya discussing regional security, leaving Ethiopia aside. What does it mean? It means that Ethiopia-US relations are not good these days. Kenya is now new US ally in this region. Ethiopia wants to join BRICS. BRICS has approved Ethiopian membership. Kenya is not interested in joining BRICS. Ethiopia in discussions with IMF, World Bank for a bailout package. No bailout package so far. Kenya has received financial support in the form of loans from IMF, reportedly. Kenya signed a defense agreement with the US. Kenya not interested in joining BRICS. Ethiopia wants to join BRICS. It has joined BRICS. And for that, Ethiopia got little bit relief that China deferred payment of debt which Ethiopia owes to China. That is what Ethiopia got. Russia not in a position to help Ethiopia financially. So it means that in the fight against Al-Shabaab, US wants to take Kenya on board, Somalia on board, Djibouti on board, but not Ethiopia. It's a failure of US foreign policy that it's a failure of Ethiopian foreign policy that Ethiopia is isolated. I would say it's a failure of US foreign policy as well. US needs Ethiopian support. If Ethiopia is left out, US policies in this region will suffer setbacks. You'll see that. Ethiopia cannot be isolated because geographically Ethiopia is very strategic. Yes, it's landlocked, but it shares border with Kenya, with Sudan, with Eritrea, with Somalia, Somaliland, Djibouti. So you cannot form a regional security policy without taking Ethiopia on board. But Ethiopia-US security defense relations are not as intimate as US-Kenya relations. Eritrea, Ethiopian neighbor, has chosen sides. Eritrea is openly, fearlessly supporting Russian Chinese narratives, lashing out at the US and West. Isaias Afwerki does not waste any opportunity when it comes to criticizing US and EU. Ethiopia wants to be neutral, but it is paying the price for being neutral. It is not getting any financial support from US-backed, EU-backed institutions. At the same time, China, Russia, a little hesitant to be close to Ethiopia. Yes, they have good ties with Ethiopia, but Eritrea is closer to China and Russia than Ethiopia. So I would say it's a failure of Ethiopian foreign policy too. And maybe it's because of the conflicts in Ethiopia too, because world powers have realized that this country is going to be embroiled in internal conflicts. How can a country have regional reach if it is facing conflict after conflict? 2-year-long war in Tigray, now another conflict in the Amhara region, Oromia destabilized too. So what Ethiopia needs is internal stability, unity. That is how it can be a relevant regional international player. Otherwise, it will be sidelined. Secondly, viewers, since yesterday, we have been hearing rumors about an ENDF top officer. Who is he? What is being rumored about him? He is a general, I think a major general. Some say he's a brigadier general, most say he's a major general. His name is Major General Marie Yene Amhara from Janamora. He is in charge of Ethiopian military in Gondar. He's working under a General Burhanu Bakale, I think who's from Oromia. And we know that Fano fighters managed to breach Gondar security 3 days ago, Fano fighters entered Gondar city. In their attack, several ENDF officials were killed and injured. Locals were targeted too by Fano fighters. Some Fano fighters injured, killed too. Fano fighters attacked police stations, They are freed prisoners. It is being reported. Since yesterday, it has been reported that Fano's infiltration into Gondar is being seen a failure of General Mariye. It was rumored yesterday that Mariye was summoned to Addis Ababa and fired. By fired, I think it means that he was transferred to some other place. Then this morning, we heard new rumors that General Mariye had been executed. At the orders of PM Abiy, he was killed today. So I've been trying to confirm that what is the situation. Fano's entry in Gondar is a failure of Ethiopian National Defense Force. No one can deny that. But very much expected. I've been saying, those who follow the conflict in Amhara neutrally, they know that Fano can re-enter Gondar by Datu. They are carrying out surgical operations. They don't want to hold on to Gondar by Datu. They might enter tomorrow as well. Failure of ENDF, but ENDF cannot secure each and every inch of the Amhara region. It's not possible. It's a big region. Each and every Kabyle, village, city, road cannot be secured by Ethiopian National Defense Force, no matter who the in charge is. I have no verified information that General Mariye has been executed. Will he be transferred? Has he been transferred? I don't know. I don't think that he will be transferred. But why? Because it would be a bad signal, bad message from the federal government to Amhara generals. Amhara generals are already facing pressure from Amhara people. Amhara people are accusing them of being traitors. Any strict action from federal government against Amhara generals would mean that generals would be forced to support Fano or to be soft on Fano. Is Fano's infiltration into Gondar being seen as failure of General Mariye, or is it because General Mariye was involved in giving some room to Fano fighters to enter and operate in Gondar? It's difficult to say. I don't think General Mariye is supporting Fano, because he is the one who led the operation when Fano fighters entered, when Ethiopian military entered Gondar a few weeks ago. So he was the one who was planning the entire operation. Back then he cleared Gondar. Fano fighters had to retreat from Gondar. Yes, he's been in touch with Gondar elders. He's been trying to talk to Fano commanders too, as other government officials have been trying to do, Zinash, others, Milak Pellawel, other PP members. They've been trying to talk to Fano fighters. It does not mean that they are supporting Fano fighters. So rumors are being said. Basically, pro-Fano activists, they want Amhara generals to support Fano, which is not possible for these generals. They cannot do it secretly too. They'll be captured. It will be disclosed. And they are working as ENDF officers. Yes, if they fail to perform, they might be transferred. It does not mean that PM Abiy's government wants to remove Amhara generals from Amhara region, because all leading generals, most of the leading generals, mid-level commanders in Amhara region conducting the operation against Fano, they are Amhara. Oromo generals deployed too, but mainly Amhara generals. So I don't think that Mariye has been executed. If it happened, it would be declaration of war from federal government on Amhara top military officers. It did not happen. Only rumors are being spread. Thank you for watching.